here we are.
Another episode of Music Matters Podcast. We're at the Electric Love Festival.
Yes, mate.
And we've got Josh Garrett, friend of the show, back on for another chat.
Yeah. I think it's been about a year, isn't it?
No, it was the beginning of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like January,
Yeah.
or February or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's been a few months.
It's been a few months.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice to have
you
you back
too,
on
man.
the show, mate. And obviously you played your set last night here at Electric Love on the Zenden stage.
Yeah.
It was great to hear, man. It was a great
thanks.
set.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a really good set, mate. I loved it.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks. That was a lot of fun. I had a really good time with it. And,
Yeah.
you know, I was like, it's a little tough when you play the festivals and you're doing a live set because you're getting up in there and you have to compete with, like, you know, what the DJs are playing. It's all mastered and stuff, right? So
Absolutely.
I do have a mastering chain in my set, so like I can hit the same. I don't want to get too technical, but the RMS level that they're playing for their mastered stuff, so
that
it
you
should hit the same way.
confused me with earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, when we
But
started.
it's basically average loudness.
Yeah.
Right? And so if everything's set up right, it should punch as hard, but sometimes it's hard because you're coming in and it's like, okay, so what level do you want it? So there was a little challenge at the beginning there, but I think we dialed it in.
It sounded amazing though, mate.
Oh, yeah, man.
And I mean, obviously, like we're talking, if everyone out there doesn't know, Josh plays live hardware rather than DJing. So again, it's a whole different skill set right there.
I mean, from previous, if you want to know more about Josh, then obviously we've got a previous episode. But I mean, I'd like to talk about how you had your setup for this event.
Yeah.
I mean, you had all your stuff lined out.
Yeah,
and
what did you bring?
Like the
What
process.
bits of toys did you bring?
Yeah, so I actually do my live sets from in the box, so I play with Ableton, so it's not like really a hardware set. But I have basically I have 4 pieces of gear. So I have my Mac, so I have a MacBook Pro, 14-inch M1 Pro, which I love. It's one of the best Macs I've had ever. And then I use a Push 2 with that, so from Ableton. And then my audio interface is an RME Babyface Pro, so it's like rock solid, really high quality, loud. And then a MIDI fighter twister for all of sort of like, because I do a fair bit of filter modulation and I like to tweak acid lines and stuff in my set, so that's all mapped onto that. So I don't have to mess around with selecting devices from the push. It's all just always mapped to that.
Yeah.
So I can do all my filters and I can do my effect sends because I have a certain amount. I used to do a lot more dub techno than I do now.
Yeah.
Because these days it's basically like acid, industrial Detroit influence stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's all that kind of hybrid. You know, like I did tone it down a little bit last night. I didn't go 100% JGarrett. Because,
what BPM was you playing last night?
So I started at 129 because the guy before me, he played a great set.
Great set, yeah.
It was fantastic. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand too, right?
Yeah,
like,
man.
So he set me up really nicely, but he was playing more of a tech house sound.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like. So I opened with the ambient portions of my track on Perc Trax, right? So just those big chords and that swelling sound, and then got into more of the body of that track. But I had to start at 129. 129? Anyway, sorry, 129. When normally I would probably start more around 136 and then work my way up to 140. In North America. If I was playing in Europe, I'd probably have to boost that even further.
Yeah.
145, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, so it's a little slower than what I normally do, and it's a different style. Like, there's a lot. Like, he didn't have scraping metal sounds, right? And stuff. So, so it kind of like, you know, got into there at 129. At my peak, I was 137, but about halfway through, there was this big gap in the middle of the dance floor, and I thought that I was just hammering people too hard or something. I didn't realize that there was actually a first aid situation happening at the edge of the stage.
Yeah, man.
And so when I'm looking out, I'm like, oh man, I'm scaring everybody away. So I kind of dialed it back. So by the end of my set, I was back at 134. And I was like, there's a lot of stuff from like Gobsmacked. I played a fair number of Gobsmacked tracks, but I didn't touch on a lot of my older Dirty Minds stuff because it's just too grindy and too heavy. And even some of the Gobsmacked stuff I had to dial back. And like, I recently had an EP out on Mastoid Collected out of Chicago, Collective, and that stuff it probably wouldn't have flown too well in the festival vibe right now. But it, like in the right place with the right audience, like that stuff is like. But again, it's got to be 137, 138, and just like hammers, right?
Yeah.
And so Yeah, but that's the thing, right? You play to the crowd that's there and the people who are paying attention.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sleepy just walked by.
Yeah. And we were chatting yesterday and today a little bit, but you mentioned like when you come to something like this, you've got quite a lot of material all ready to go, and so you can kind of read the crowd and pick what you're gonna.
I never
feel it out a little bit, and man.
Yeah, so like I blocked my face. I guess that'll be it.
You're good, man. It's all good. We're getting eaten alive out here.
There's a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah. So basically, like my full live set is probably 130, 150 pieces of music, and that's a mixture of originals and remixes. For this, I cut that down to make it more manageable to about 90.
Still so, 90.
I think 15 or 16 of those are remixes. So, like remixes I had in there, I had a remix of like Wedding McBride. I played a remix I did for Sean Deason. I played my remix of Talandra. That one I think that one has those big sort of like underworldy kind of chords. I think the crowd was into that one. It's got vocals and stuff in it too, so it's got a little bit more of something that'll hook sort of the festival crowd, I think, as opposed to, because that's the thing too, is like when you're playing a festival and you're on a stage, and especially when it's really stylistically mixed, like typically I would either be playing for an audience that knows me, or I'm playing to open for someone who's similar
style of
music.
So like like I think I mentioned before, like when I played LA and I opened for I Hate Models, I'm not going to blow him out of the water, right? Like, he's going to come in.
You're going to layer it up for him, right?
Yeah. So like but I know that I can push it and I can go hard, and I don't go as hard as he does, and so but I don't have to be afraid that I'm going to turn the audience off by punishing them a little bit, right? And here it's sort of like, okay, they don't know me, they're not. A lot of people, I mean, there were people who were specifically here to see my set last night, but the majority of the crowd probably aren't really familiar, with me, and I know that, right? So it's it's a different, just kind of like, pay attention to what's happening, out in the crowd and the stage, what they're responding to, and just try to, guide them somewhere, and also keep up with them, right? So.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this. Obviously, when you've only got an hour, you only had an hour set. It's tough to really pick what you really want to play, as well as read the crowd and do that thing too, right? Like, it's not really much time to,
your first 15 minutes go by pretty fast.
Man, they do.
I played like 3 tracks or whatever. And the thing is too, like when you're playing live, you can really milk it, right? Because you can like have something that just runs and it's sort of a hypnotic part, and then you're just mixing it up with other parts. So like there was like one acid line I'd let run for a really long time last night because it was just working, right? And then I was just changing the other tracks that were under it, so it became sort of a continuity thing, right? So I mean, but people were really responding to it, and it was a good time. And then Derek played a nice set after me, Derek Michaels, and then I was really impressed with Kaleido as well. I really liked what she was playing.
I gotta admit, after your set was done, I hit the sack. I was pretty much done for the night.
I was tired, man. We were like, it's a good set, but I'm
I can understand. I mean, like it's tough, like with the sun, like the way the festival's lined up too, like walking back and forth. It's a pretty good hike. I've got a lot of got a lot of steps in.
Absolutely,
it's good. I need it.
I got my 10,000 steps each day for sure. 100%.
How did you link get the setup to play like up there? Did you go for a sound card? Did you come out of the headphone port? I know it seems a bit cheesy coming out of the headphone port, but like did you come out of that sound card into the back of a channel in the mixer?
So they've got the main DJ setup up there is a DJM and then 3 CDJs. So the 4th strip is open, right? There's nothing on the 4th channel. So I just came into the line in on that from my Babyface. So I basically have a Babyface Pro, which is an XLR coming out of the device, and then I downstep that basically to an RCA. Just come into those, and so it's a little tough. So sometimes it depends on how the festival's set up. Like sometimes I will not go into the DJ mixer and we'll just come through the XLRs directly into the main stage board. But then the issue is that I don't have control over, and I might not even have the monitors, right? So
Yeah.
if the monitors are coming directly out of the DJ mixer and they're not coming off of the stage board, then I don't have control over the volume, and I want to be able to control the volume, because like oftentimes, because I'm playing live and I'm not the main setup, I'm off to one side, and I might be sitting like with a monitor like right in my ear.
there, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
getcha.
depending on the monitor, I mean, I still have most of my hearing. I have some tinnitus,
Yeah.
but I don't have like loss, and I want to keep it that way. So I don't really want to be like stacked up against a monitor that's just blasting half of it.
I'm the same, man. I had a hearing test last year, and it went from like 0 was good, 45 was bad, 25 was the cusp. And for the low end sounds, the frequencies, my right ear, I have a slight bit of tinnitus. From when I'm stressed or tired, you can hear it. But like he said, you're on a cusp, man. Like just keep it there and save it. And I was like, yeah, I've got to make music. And so I know what you mean.
Yeah,
like,
keep those earplugs.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I have 3 sets with me when I come here.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing them right this second, but obviously we're well away from the stage.
Yeah.
I actually did bring a set with me this time. I don't normally. My ears. It's funny. I get mine tested for work as well. I've got one coming up on August 23rd. Actually, just reminded me.
There you go.
Coming
See?
up, but mine aren't too bad, man. And again, years of standing there and headphones on, and like Brad knows when I got my headphones on, I turn them up loud, don't I?
I can hear him. I'm like,
He's like,
really?
oh yeah, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm lucky, touch wood, and I don't do it all that often. It's not like I'm every day, hours a day doing it. No, man. Now I kind of jam every couple of days, and I'll play for an hour or two, and then I'm done. Right.
it's like we were.
And if the house is empty, then I'm not using my headphones anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, I did bring mine just in case this time, because
Yeah.
I even like bass coast, I didn't get any tinnitus. Again, it depends on the sound system.
Oh yeah. If it's
Yeah.
tuned properly.
Yeah,
and
man.
Like, I mean.
You'll never go home with tinnitus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean I've been at shows where it's usually like the higher mid range. That's really the problem. Like for me, the worst show I ever was at in terms of hearing was the Ramones, right? And you get all that fuzz guitar and distortion, and my ears started ringing and the tone just went boo. That was really scary.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I was like 16 at that show or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably a lot of my tinnitus also comes from my dad's a train spotter, and so we would go out to like train junctions and stuff, and like these trains would come by and blast horns. And
He'd make me stand there.
yeah, well, I mean, we'd get close to it, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's some of that. Because I can't remember a time when I didn't have it.
You really, eh?
But it's not like I can't notice it right now because there's sound around.
Oh, the sound going. That's when you're silent in bed
from
or
the
something.
quiet room,
Yeah,
Like,
same, man.
But
Mine was very like beep 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 beep.
I was
Oh,
getting
yeah.
it for a while, wasn't I? Remember that when we were working at
Yeah.
that mill? I was kind of getting it a little bit, but it was
Mine's
in
like
one ear
Morse
and it's
code.
gone now. It's
Oh.
weird.
It's like
yeah.
beep 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 beep.
oh, really? It's not just a tone?
No, it's like beep beep beep.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, it does, man.
I actually got some brand new custom ear plugs that are bright pink with silver sparkles.
Oh, nice.
It looks like bubble gum stuck in my ears. It's
Rave
fantastic.
Probably is.
That's awesome. yeah. It's funny. It's like, but that's the thing too, right? I mean, like if you're around music and production and stuff, like I recently upgraded my monitors in my studio, and for the last, I guess 9 years, I've been using Dynaudio BM6A Mark IIs, which I really like. The difference between the originals and the Mark IIs is the Mark IIs are more forward in the mids, which illuminates them, but also means that you really have to push the mids when you're mixing in order to have it translate on another set. But I decided to treat myself this year, and I bought a pair of Neumann KH310s, which,
Very
10-inch
nice.
drivers, and so when I set them up, you could really hear the difference
Yeah.
between the Dynaudios and the.
Have you got a sub with that?
Oh no, you don't need it.
No, you don't need it. It's
Yeah,
just
no,
pure
you can,
fucking.
Do you have to tune them at all?
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff
on the back.
Yeah, but did they sound pretty clean right off the bat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I plugged them in, I was
Yeah,
like, okay. And
yeah.
then I just had to tune them to the room a little bit because it depends on like how you set them up against the wall and the angle.
Yeah, how
and-
far away are they in the
Yeah,
corner?
yeah.
Are they facing out? Are they facing diagonal?
Yeah,
all
are they
that
flat?
kind of. Yeah, man.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
How far is your back wall? So they basically, for me, they sit away from the wall. So they're not in the middle of the room, but they're a couple feet away from the wall.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Equilateral triangle.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So
Do you do them on floor stands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a massive desk. I have a massive wood desk that's like 77 inches wide by 2.5 feet deep. And I have to use Imperial because I'm American, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm so used to Imperial now. It's all good.
okay.
Yeah.
One time I was in in the Midlands in England, and I used to be involved with print stuff. And these guys are like, so how much margin should we put around the page? I said, about ½ inch around each one. And they looked at me like I was from the moon.
Yeah.
They're like, what's that? Right, so.
It's about 10 mil.
Yeah.
Ish, roughly. Isn't it?
Well, it's like.
Half inch?
Oh,
Well, no,
2.5
25
fours.
centimeters is an inch.
Yeah.
25 centimeters.
So it'd be 12.
Yeah.
12 mil.
12.
Yeah.
Oh, it's close.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
so I translated it
Yeah, well,
because I knew it's 2.54 centimeters. to an
Okay,
inch.
so now you guys are just picking on me.
I still can't do Fahrenheit to Celsius. Though.
No, that's just stupid. And why did they even do that one? It's just, I was bugging my buddy. He's English, lives in the States, and he went on, oh yeah, it's like 76. I was like, why do you still use that? I was like, it's so easy. It's 0.
Yeah.
It starts at 0 and it just goes up in ones.
What's more important, water or blood?
I don't
No,
know.
I'm just water because that's the
Yeah.
that's the weather.
I just don't get the whole 15/64ths and
Oh, in the mile.
in the imperial.
Oh, fuck, that's easy, bro. I'll catch you up on
Well,
that.
see,
Don't worry.
here's the
Yeah,
thing,
thanks,
though.
guys.
If you try to do fractions in metric, it's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, how do you do thirds? But that's the only place that.
Oh, to be honest, I thought this was a music podcast.
Now we're just getting into math.
Let's get back to let's get back to
Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good actually. Maths lesson. Yeah.
So, actually, and I know we asked you this last time, but so have you got any new tracks and projects you're working on that you might have something coming out we can talk about?
Well, I've got some recent stuff that came out. So I did an EP on Mastoid out of Chicago that I mentioned, and that came out probably, I don't know, within the last couple months.
Okay, cool.
It's 3 tracks. It's really pretty heavy stuff. It's definitely not for everybody. But the people who like it seem to really like it. I know that the day it came out, like Black Asteroid played all 3 tracks from it, and it's set in Berlin that night, so that was really cool. Brian told me that. And then I did a remix for Hoorah, who's also on Mastoid. And then, so that came out a little bit ago. Right now I'm working on some stuff for a few other labels. I've got a bunch of labels who've asked me for things. And that's a little hard because I don't have a backlog at the moment. Like COVID kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit in terms of like proactively producing things. So now I'm kind of producing things on request, which is a little hard because now it's like, okay, this person wants this, this, and this, and now I have kind of a backlog.
I've really got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So like, it's prioritizing that and figuring out, what to kind of put together to send to them. And I've got a few people who are looking to do some collabs. So we'll see what happens with that. And then I think I might have even talked about this last time, but there's a label in Detroit called Remember Why You Started, or RWYS. And that's run by Sean Tate, the Butcher. And so he's got a 12-inch EP, various artist things that's coming out, and I have a track on that.
Okay.
So I'm not sure the exact timeline on that. And then later in the year, RF is going to be doing a retrospective set of, like, it's a 5-volume set of tracks that I've either released on Subspec or on RF. So I think the first 4 volumes are collections of tracks from from Subspec, going back between say 2012 and 2019. So it's more sort of straight ahead techno. And so those have 4 or 5 tracks on each one, and then there'll be one that collects up my countered alias stuff. And there's 4 tracks, I think, on that. And then there's another one of the stuff I've done on RF, which also includes a bunch of remixes. So that one will be a little bit longer. So that's coming out later in the year.
Anything on vinyl?
The one for Remember Why You Started,
Sweet.
that'll be on vinyl. And I mean, the last one, I don't know everyone who's on this one, but like, the last one he had guys like Stingray and stuff on. So
cool.
There'll be a good bunch of people on there. Sean does awesome stuff, super good dude. Basically family, and stuff. So yeah, it's so they'll be coming out of Detroit. I think he presses at Archer and stuff too. So it's all Detroit stuff. So yeah, so that'll be coming out, and then everything else is just kind of like up in the air right now. There's some talk about maybe some smaller local shows. So we might be getting Proper happening again, or at least getting Proper. So Proper is the production company for events that I do with a friend.
Yep.
And we might be working
back in like Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver.
Yep.
So
okay.
we started in 2017, and like, between 2017 and 2019, we brought like Chris Liebing, Perc, Starak, Rebekah, Non-Compliant, Tin Man, Claude Young, Mark Broom, Marcel Fengler.
Big names then, mate, yeah?
Yeah.
Big
Game
names.
Arvine, we had him open for Ben Sims.
Yeah.
That show was the music, the quality of the music. So I don't know, like Chuck Hampton, Game Arvine is one of the really like I don't want to say uncelebrated, because the people who do know, you know, really appreciate what he does. But you know, he's one of the best house guys in techno to come out of Detroit, in my mind. But I mean, really focusing on house, but he can play whatever. But he just, I think he kind of keeps things at the level that he wants them at, right? So he's not really, anyway. But
awesome.
Chuck's awesome. I recommend people check out Chuck Hampton or Gay Marvin.
Sounds like you got quite a lot in the pipeline there coming up, bud.
Yeah, you know, trying to keep things happening.
Yep.
It's you know, I played an awesome show down in Seattle at the beginning of June. And I had a bunch of stuff I was working on in terms of production coming out of that, but unfortunately I caught COVID, and
oh wow,
yeah, it kind of put me on my butt for a few weeks. I was only really sick for like a day, in terms of having a fever and aches and stuff, but like the following 2 weeks, like by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was like, man, I gotta sleep.
Really?
And and then, you know, so it'd be like just trying to be productive was rough, and again the brain fog from it's crazy. You know, like,
for
I've
sure.
still got it now.
Yeah. I'm probably still dealing with that. I don't know.
Oh, I think I'll still am. But,
but it's been crazy. Like just trying to. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure there's lots of people been. It seems to affect everybody a little differently.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, man.
100%.
Definitely.
Touch wood, I got lucky, mate. I don't think.
Yeah.
If I did get it, it was before it was even called COVID. We talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about
I got
it.
real sick
We got
right
real
at the
sick.
beginning of this, before they even brought it out. Like literally a couple of months, and I'm pretty sure it was it. But nothing was being done about anything then. It was
One of my coworkers caught it back in December 2019. He was in New York and came back to where he lives in Canada, and he didn't realize that he had COVID, and he was like, man, he's like, my whole family caught this flu, it's so bad, it's really bad. He's like, I don't know if it's corona, but it's like, I would call it Molson, it's that bad. And there goes my sponsorship from Molson.
Right.
But anyway, that was his joke.
That's okay, you don't want that sponsorship anyway, I don't think, right?
I'm not looking for that.
No, right.
So,
Well, man.
Yeah.
I think we've brushed it up there.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on again, Josh. It was great to see you here at Lecture Love.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Your set was fucking wicked yesterday.
Set was blazing, mate. Can't wait to hear some of these new tracks coming out, and we'll catch up again soon.
Cool, sounds good.
Cheers, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Thanks
Cheers.
again, man.
That's it.